Hi Zama, thank you so much for joining us for 26 Ideas Inspiration series. We couldn't be happier to have you part of this.
Thanks, Vinay, and thanks for having me here. It's lovely to be part of this entire series. And I'm really
Super.
looking forward to how it's going to unfold as we go along.
Likewise, it's broken into two parts. The first part is about 6 7 questions across some of the work you've done, and the second part is the fun part. It's a rapid fire. We'll ask you 4 5 questions. Try and put you on a spot. Try and
Okay.
get the try and get the reality, or try and get those things that people don't know, or And so, good to start with that.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. So, you've spent over 20 years working in conflict zones on very important topics. What's the most unforgettable story of resilience from a woman you've come across during this period that you met?
Vinay, even today, when I actually think of this conversation I had with this particular woman, it still gives me goosebumps.
Oh, wow.
So during conflict situation, as is anywhere, medical professionals have to perform no matter what, right?
Correct.
So I was in this little village up in the hills in Kashmir, and I was having this conversation, and this the what we call the women who come help dies who help with deliveries,
Correct.
essentially, yeah. So I mean, pregnancies, deliveries are not going to stop no matter what. She narrated to me how she said that, every time when she leaves her house, she bids goodbye to her family,
Oh,
not
no.
knowing if she come back or not. And
Wow.
that is something which over the years has stayed with me. And then when we even now look at when COVID happened, it's actually the same thing, right? So
That's correct.
conflict, no matter where and in which situation, kind of that's the kind of resilience I think health workers have, who
Yes.
just go out there every day and fight for it no matter what, and they
Yeah.
don't have a choice. So yeah, that's something which has stayed with me and comes back to me very often in our day-to-day situations.
No, that's massive, and I think we should call out the health workers and respect for them. I think they are unspoken of, or if India has unspoken heroes, that's the health workers, that's the
Yeah,
armed forces, that's the police on the street, and many of them, right?
totally.
Thank you for sharing that. Uh, you worked and working with UNDP and UNHCR in India on various topics of Kashmir and Afghanistan related. What's one of the things about conflict that outsiders always almost misunderstand?
Was I not myself from Kashmir, maybe I would have not known this, because as workers, we go and we come out and we
Correct.
don't realize it. But since I am a person from a conflict zone, um, one of the repercussions that I see on a day to day basis is how the common person gets affected in all of this. So, no matter who's fighting, what the issue is, what it
Yeah.
is not, it doesn't matter. Finally, it is the common person, and especially with Kashmir, when I look at it, and again, way back when I was working in 2000 in Kashmir to now when Pahalgam happened recently, the
Mhm.
first repercussion is on the people of that conflict zone living in the Indian
Yeah.
context and the rest of the country. And
Correct.
again, even in a cosmopolitan like Bombay, in the city, in the place where I sit right now, Bandra,
Yeah.
it continues no matter what. So, how
Oh,
people
wow.
treat you because you are a Kashmiri, how
That's
seriously,
unfortunate, though, right? Yeah, and it impacts normal people, right? It impacts the
very
family,
normal.
impacts their children, impacts society at large, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Now, thank you. As the CEO of Pride India and now Aidbees, what's the biggest challenge you've had in leading organizations that are focused on social change?
It's, in fact, my struggle till date. And of course, it's fundraising,
Sure.
but it's not fundraising for the cause. People are willing to give you funds for the cause.
Okay.
But what they are not willing to see is even 1 rupee going for the employees of the organization.
But
So there's
somebody's got
always,
to pay, right, for work that being done, right? Somebody's salaries have to be paid, right? You would think.
exactly, yeah. But somehow it's the toughest to raise. So when we say, uh, so people will ask, okay, where will the money go? So you tell
Correct.
them, and then you say human resource may itna percent. Why is so much percent going there? And I keep wondering, I'm like, if it doesn't go, how are we supposed to sustain? How are we supposed to work? Who's going to pay salaries? But somehow
Yeah.
the concept is that if you're in an NGO, you're working for free.
No.
So NGO work is connected to being charity work, and unfortunately, I mean, and I think that's something which needs to be clarified, that no social workers are as good or bad as MBAs. They
No, I
have
agree
been,
with you.
they have studied, and they need to be paid. Only then can they work.
In your experience, what do young founders and change makers get wrong when they try to tackle social issues too quickly? Like, I can fix this, now. I'll fix it now. What do they get it wrong, or why do they get it wrong?
Because they treat it as a corporate issue.
Ah.
So, in my view, most of the times when people start an NGO, often, and I may be wrong in the statistics and everything, but often it is people who have worked, have earned certain amount of money, or have certain credibility which can then bring in money. And having worked is either in the corporate or maybe in the government sectors, as we call the
Correct.
UPSC
Yeah.
sector. So people who have the potential to then raise money. Yeah, so
Yeah.
they mostly, that's the, or your board will be, the NGO's board will
Let's
be
compare.
of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I have always struggled with is that how they always take it as a corporate issue, which then has XYZ issues, XYZ solutions. This is the graph at which the trajectory will go up to. This will happen 2 years from now. This will happen. And all of this beautifully made graphs come up and everything comes up. But nowhere do they realize that how difficult it is when you don't have a brand with you, when you're starting something new, um, and how difficult it is to get people to to give money for something in which the return is not tangible.
That's very insightful. One more quick question on that. If you could whisper one piece of advice to a young or to yourself, younger yourself, stepping into TISS as a first time social work student today, what would that be?
Uh, it would still, it'll, so when I entered TIS, I didn't know what social work meant. Honestly,
Oh,
this is the story I tell everybody, that I came for this written, whatever, all of those tests that you
yeah,
come in. Um,
yeah.
we all came in from Delhi, and we were all very innocent, and we all wanted to be in Bombay, and we wanted to have this great fun in Bombay. So we all applied,
Yeah.
and we came in. I was the only one out of the group that had come in who got through. And but yeah, I think even then I had a feeling that it'll change my life forever, and it did. And that's what I would tell myself if I was there today, that this will change your life. And how it changed my life is another story for another day, but it
Yeah.
did.
We're going to move to the next round, which is 4 or 5 quick rapid fire questions. You're not going to get time to think. I mean, you have time to think, but we'd like you to answer on prompt. What's the first thought that comes to you? Ready?
Yeah.
All right. Field research or policy advocacy?
Field research any day. The
Okay.
fun, the joy of it, of being in the middle of everything.
I couldn't agree more, right? Refugee camp or boardroom? Which tests leadership more?
Boardroom. You're always trying to put me. Refugee camps are much easier. There's
Wow. All right, last one on that. Ever had a moment where someone in the community, a community woman, completely flipped the script on you during field work.
We did.
Keep inspiring, Sama. I think
Thank you
the
so
country and the world needs much, many more people like yourself, right? Fighting in adversary conditions.